Hey guys, what's good? Mike here, Lakers Talk. I want to talk about the Lakers offseason moves, potential offseason moves, what's likely, what could transpire, what's possible, some hypotheticals. Talk about who's untouchable on our team. So obviously the name Paul George is out there, and now you got Jimmy Butler out there. The Chicago Bulls are consistently, blasting out that Jimmy Butler is on the trade market, then he's not. Then he's on the trade market, then he's not. I saw something that he's back on the trade market. Obviously, Paul George is on the market. He's rumored to possibly want to come to LA. I never heard it from his mouth, but sources say that's a given, right? Obviously, both players are under contract. People say, Mike, wait and let's acquire Paul George through free agency. Listen, there is no possible way that Indiana lets Paul George walk out of free agency as an unrestricted free agent without trading him first. He will be traded to someone besides the Lakers, and they will acquire some assets before he's able to just walk out and leave them high and dry. So that's not going to happen. That's unlikely. Both players will be traded at some point. So the Lakers obviously is likely to make a move for Paul George this offseason through trade, and we're going to give up some assets. Now, somebody threw out a tweet to me and said, go after both. Sell everything and go after both players. And I kind of laughed and chuckled a little bit, but I'm like, that's a crazy idea, but is that possible? Now, all of this is all predicated on whether or not we get a top 2 pick, or top 3 pick, because that's a strong asset that some team, one of these teams, Indiana or Chicago, would want in return, in addition to some other assets, to build if they're going to give away an all-star like Paul George. Now, Paul George and Jimmy Butler, let's just say this. These two players are almost identical. 27 years of age. They can put up 25 and whatever. And sometimes they can put up 35 here and there. They can get to the line. They can hoop and they can defend. Two-way players. Paul George is a little bit more swaggy in his sort of superstar status, obviously. But at the end of the day, you put them on the court, Jimmy Butler, Paul George, they are almost identical players. Paul George a little taller, but they are almost the same. But I love them both, and I would have them both on the team. That would be crazy. Now, people will laugh, and they'll laugh at me, Mike, you're crazy. We don't have enough assets, and I wouldn't do it. Someone would say that. Listen, the only untouchable person on this team, and this is hard to say in terms of trying to have build up enough assets to acquire these two, is Brandon Ingram. Now, either one of these teams are going to want Brandon Ingram in return, and I wouldn't trade Brandon Ingram for nothing right now. And here's the point. Brandon Ingram is the only untouchable player on the Lakers squad. Okay? Sell everybody else. And why do I say that? Because Brandon Ingram, at his God-given sort of gifts of being that long, that tall, that his wingspan and his abilities at such a young age, you can't find that easily, okay? I could find another shooter like D'Angelo Russell who is inconsistent and who can't defend or whatnot, okay? I can find that. As much as you will say, and as much as we know that D'Angelo Russell is a good shooter, and he is above average shooter in the NBA, in my opinion, he is. But he's inconsistent. He has his mindset where he doesn't know exactly, what his game is. He doesn't attack the rim and all that stuff. I could find that. I could find a player like Jordan Clarkson. I could find a player like Julius Randle at some point. I could find a Larry Nance Jr. I could find a Zubac somewhere. I could find, you name it, I could find somebody. But you can't find Brandon Ingram easily in the draft, or whatnot. You just don't find those type of players. They come every other year or so, a few years, and whatever. So I would be hard pressed to give up, even though I know that Brandon Ingram is not at the level of Paul George, and he's not putting up those numbers, and he's not at the level of quality of a Jimmy Butler in terms of being able to hoop right now and get to the line and produce and put up 35 a game. he doesn't have that, but he has the intangibles. He's attacking, he's long, he can defend, he's gonna grow in size in terms of his body a little bit, and putting up 15 and a game for us next year or whatever, and being able to defend. He's an integral part, in my opinion, to any team, right? Any team right now, in like playoff team or whatnot. You put him on a playoff team, he's gonna be playing major minutes because of his abilities to defend and hoop. So that's why I say Brandon Ingram is untouchable. But having said that, you say, Mike, without Brandon Ingram, do we have enough assets? Possibly. I don't know. Look at what Sacramento gave up for Boogie Cousins. I mean, what they get in return? Bag of Doritos, a Chico stick, some lemon heads, and a honey bun or something like that. They didn't get nothing in return for Boogie. So if we gave up D'Angelo Russell and whatever for Jimmy Butler or Paul, that seems to be way more than what Sacramento got for Boogie. Or if we give up our top pick and Jordan Clark, or top pick with Julius Randle and some other asset or whatever to the Bulls for Jimmy Butler in return, whatever. So now let's say we do that, we deplete our assets without giving up Brandon Ingram. Now you got Brandon Ingram, Paul George, and Jimmy Butler to build off of. Yeah, we don't have a point guard, but hell, pay Enes again, and pay him like $900,000 to run the point next year. I don't care, right? You get anybody, right? And then you just ball with that, and you just start building off of that. And yeah, would we need a point guard? Of course we'll need a point guard at some point. But just let those guys run and see how far we get, and then from there you can take several hours and try to figure out where what pieces we need. But at that point we would have two all-stars and a budding prospect in Brandon Ingram. But again, it's hypothetical. You probably say I'm crazy. No way would the Bulls or Indy go for that. Possible, but I don't know. That's just me thinking and thinking crazy and seeing what's likely and what's unlikely. But if we can acquire one of them, either way, Brandon Ingram is still untouchable. Anyway, hit me up in the comments below. You think I'm crazy? You think I'm, it's dumb and stupid to even think that way? And what's your thoughts? Hit me up in the comments below. Let me know your thoughts. Thanks for commenting, liking, and subscribing. As always, follow me on Twitter, Mike Sports LA. Talk soon, guys. Peace.